Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our latest 30-minute live revision session for A-level sociology students. Let's wander over to the Sociology Live Lounge to see. And good news, we have two presenters. We have the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Yes, that's Craig, the sociology guy. And also joining with us, his apprentice, Duncan. After last time, Duncan, the apprentice is in the house. Well, guys, welcome back. And Duncan, do you want to give us a quick overview as to what we're covering today? I see it's theory and perspectives. What's that? That's all about. What are we covering today? And also maybe just a few words about how the chat window can work to help you see what answers are coming through. Then when you're ready, give us a shout and we'll make a start.
Of course, yeah. Okay, so we're looking at theories and perspectives. So it's kind of year 12 revision, really. It's looking back at the main perspectives to look at: functionalism, Marxism, feminism, interactionism, postmodernism, new right. But it's core stuff. It flows through everything. So it's not the kind of year 13 theory stuff. We'll look at that another week when we look at sort of sociology as a science and social policy and objectivity and all that kind of thing. It's much more things that year 12 and year 13 can have a go at today, and core theory that flows through the whole of the A level. In terms of how to interact with today's activities, I know quite a few of you have been here before and know what you're doing, but you've got your chat window in front of you. As we ask questions, you can type in, if it's multiple choice, it'll just be A, B, C, or D. If we're wanting something else, we'll explain at the time what we'd like you to type into the chat window, and we shall get a start. I think make a start. Okay. And hello, incidentally, to all the people saying hello. Okay, so first up, we just have some multiple choice questions. So let's get us started with this one. What sort of a theory is functionalism? Is it a conflict theory, a consensus theory, is it action theory, or a postmodern theory? I'm seeing lots of answers coming in straight away. Lots of people going for B. Shall we see if that's right? Absolutely. Well done. Very good. So let's move on to the next question. What term do Marxists use to describe the working class? Okay, is it the petty bourgeoisie, the bourgeoisie, the proletariat, or the lumpen proletariat? Starting to see a couple of answers come through here. Not everyone going for the same one, although we're starting to get some consensus around C. Shall we have a look? Is it C, Jim? Yes, it is. Okay, well done, everybody there. If you're not familiar with some of the other terms there, I'm sure everyone will be familiar with bourgeoisie and proletariat. Marx did suggest that those were the two most important classes, but he did talk about other classes as well: petty bourgeoisie, kind of shopkeepers, and sort of, I suppose, like a kind of middle class of the time, and lumpen proletariat is a similar concept to the underclass, really. Okay, if we move on to another question. Okay, a bit about the new right now, and obviously we think of it as a sociological perspective, but it also comes up in politics. Which of these politicians would you most associate with the new right? Is it Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, Margaret Thatcher, or Winston Churchill? I'm seeing lots of answers coming through. Thanks ever so much, guys, for engaging in the chat window. It's great to see. The more of you do so, the better. I'm seeing lots and lots of C's. Shall we have a look if you're right? Well done. We are. It's sometimes when we're looking at, say, new right policies to do with education or whatever, we sometimes point out that a few of the new Labour policies also kind of appear to link to sort of new right perspective in terms of sort of free market and things like that. But certainly the new right as a political project is associated with kind of Tony Blair in the UK and Ronald Reagan in the US. Okay, shall we have a look at the...
Sorry, just with the new right as well, you've got to remember sort of like a lot of the new right, the right realist policies that came in, and particularly in the US were under Clinton as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Although sometimes under perhaps a Republican mayor, for example, even though even though the president was a Democrat. Yeah. Which of these sociological perspectives is most likely to prefer unstructured interviews? So a little bit of research methods here. Which of these sociological perspectives is most likely to prefer unstructured interviews. This is the last of our MCQs before we move on to another activity. I'm seeing lots and lots of B's, which is great. Be interested to see if anyone wants to post into the chat window why as well. If anyone wants to explain why feminists might prefer unstructured interviews, but should we have a quick look? Check that that's right. It is. Well done. So well done, guys. Okay, let's now move on. I'm going to hand over to Craig, who's going to talk us through a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. It was nice that sort of like Jim referred to you as my apprentice. I tend to think that I'm kind of Robin to your Batman, really, aren't I? You know what I mean? It's the other way around, really. Okay, we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. And again, we're looking at theories. We're looking at the basic theory from year 12. So we're going to look at concepts that are associated with the different theoretical approaches. You'll have 2 minutes to identify 5 concepts associated with, 4 concepts associated with, 3 different types of theorists associated with an approach, 2, 1, and so on and so forth. So if we could switch to the next screen and have a look at the different things, the different concepts. So I want you to identify 5 concepts with functionalism, 4 associated with Marxism, 3 branches of feminism, 2 theorists associated with interactionism, and 1 postmodern theorist. So you have 2 minutes to do that. Again, on the right-hand side, if you could write in which one you're answering and the responses, please. We've got 5 concepts that we could associate with functionalism, 5 kind of key terms you might think about with functionalism. And again, 4 with Marxism. Okay. A little bit of a tricky one.
Anyone got any ideas? You could maybe type in 5 and then write in a couple of functionalism ones. Oh, we're seeing some now.
Oh, yeah, there they come. Okay, so people are obviously writing them down. Functionalism, organic analogy, warm bath theory, stabilization of adult personality, social solidarity, and socialization. For the 3 branches of feminism, Marxist, radical, and liberal. We've got host assimilation model, value consensus, organic analogy, and boundary maintenance. Some good responses there. Meritocracy, consensus, instrumental, expressive, and positivism. Marxism, false class consciousness, ISA. Yeah, some good responses here. They're really good responses. Any theorists associated with interactionism that we have yet?
5, 4, 3.
Okay, stabilization of adult personalities again. Foucault for postmodern theorists. Okay. We've got any other responses coming through? Marxism, white collar crime, we could look at that. Let's go through these individually then. Let's look at the 5 concepts that I've put down associated with functionalism. There were some really, really good ones that I didn't put down, but value consensus, the idea of shared norms and values of society, the organic analogy, of course, and that society operates in the same way as a human body, socialization generally, whether that be primary socialization, secondary socialization, the collective conscience, society's moral code, and social cohesion. I can see lots of other responses coming through for the different answers now as well. Becker, Weber, Goldman for, I'm assuming that's the interactionist. Goffman, sorry, they've put, yeah, that's right. Okay, can we look at our 4th one, please? So our Marxist concepts, exploitation, false class consciousness, the ISA, or indeed I think somebody put the RSA as well, the repressive state apparatus. And this is one that's sort of like people pronounce differently. I say hegemony. I don't know how you would pronounce it, Duncan.
I had it on very good authority from a leading Marxist scholar that it's one of the few words in the English language where there isn't an agreed pronunciation. I say hegemony,
really?
But
hegemony.
But it can be either, yeah, hegemony or hegemony. Yep.
Yeah, we will find later on that I can't pronounce many foreign words. So you know, and German's not great. You know, I mean, the only thing I know about Germany really is Jurgen Klopp. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Can we move to 3? Yeah. Liberal, Marxist, and radical, 3 main groups of feminists. People could put postmodern feminists, post-structural feminists, and they could also mention sort of like intersectional feminism, difference feminism, black feminism, lots of different types of feminism you could have mentioned there. But the main 3 we talk about are liberal, Marxist, and radical. 2, is it slide number 2, please? Beckett and Goffman. I think a few people put Cohen. I can see some people put Cooley as well. There's some good ones. Cicero I saw as well. That's another good response. And one theorist associated with postmodernity. I've put Lyotard. Some people could have put, and I'm going to try and pronounce this now, Baudrillard. Is that correct?
Baudrillard. Yeah.
Baudrillard. I go very Scouse when I say it because it's like Baudrillard, So yes, Klopp did sign hegemony in the transfer window. He's like one of the 7 centre backs that we signed. That probably will never play. Okay, so let's move on to our next activity. Somebody did say Foucault as a postmodernist. We would see him as kind of being more post-structural and postmodern. It's kind of would you see him as being a postmodernist, Duncan?
He often gets listed as such. I mean, I think for our purposes, I think he's okay there, isn't he? I mean, I've seen someone else put Giddens, and obviously we tend to think of Giddens as a late modernist. But it's in that ballpark, isn't it? Of kind of after the meta narratives and that kind of thing. So I think it's okay to go with it there.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, some people will, if you say that Foucault is a postmodernist, will get very upset by it. So
some people would, yeah. Some
people will. Okay, so let's look at our bubble quiz now. And in the bubble quiz, is a multiple choice question, and what you have, you have up to 4 correct answers in here. Now, again, these are all on different theoretical approaches. So if we could look at our first question, please. So the first question is, which of the following ideas would you associate with Emile Durkheim? Now, of course, Durkheim is associated with lots of ideas on the sociology specification, but which of these 4 ideas would we associate with Durkheim? Social cohesion, anomy, the biological division of labour, and the collective conscience. So if you could put down the correct answers in the text box.
And remember, it can be more than one. Just say, remember, it could be more than one. It could be all 4, could be 1, could be none.
Could be none of them. So Alfred Sotlake said B and A. Luke has gone for D. Maisie's gone C and D.
I think we had them all now.
Another different Luke is D. Laura M's gone C and D. Lucy's gone A and B. Can we see the correct responses, please? Yeah, social cohesion, social solidarity as well, anomy, and the collective conscience. The biological division of labour comes through sort of like with Parsons. Let's look at question number 2. And speaking of Parsons, which of the following ideas would we associate with Parsons out of these 4? So which of these out of this 4 would you associate with Parsons? Again, Parsons is another theorist who has written a lot about sociology, and particularly on our specification. But we've got warm bath theory, the instrumental role, the family as a safe haven, or the expressive role. Which are the correct responses there? Okay, Dizzle Dazzle's got A, B, and D. Seba's got A, B, and D. Azzy's gone A and C. Luke has got A, B, D, A, B, D. Another Luke has got B and D. Caitlin's gone A, B, D. I think we can look at the right answers there. That was quite a well-answered one. Yeah, warm bath theory, the instrumental role, and the expressive role. Warm bath theory also presented as the stabilization of adult personalities. And the C, and the response C, family is a safe haven, was actually from Zaretsky. So well done, everybody, on that one. Question number 3, please. Which of the following ideas would you associate with Marx? Class conflict, exploitation, alienation, and false class consciousness. Remember, there's could be more than one correct answer. There could be 0. Which of those concepts would you associate with the writings of Karl Marx? So Joe's gone with ABD. Callum's gone for Full House, ABCD. Seb, ABD. Emily's gone ABD. Lara said all, sorry. Emily's gone ABD, ABCD. Can we reveal the correct answers, please? Yeah, Marx said all four of those things: class conflict, exploitation, alienation, and false class consciousness. Question number 4, please. And we'll move on to another theorist. And we're looking at feminism now with Oakley. Which of the following ideas would you associate with Oakley? A, the triple shift, B, the reserve army of labor, C, the dual burden, or D, the conventional family? Which of those responses would you associate with Anne Oakley? So Emily said A and C. Lucas said A. Callum said A, B, C. A and C. A, B, C. Triple shift. A, B, C. A, B, C.
It's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes you might need to think about differentiating between perhaps feminists with similar concepts, but that perhaps someone else developed an idea further. Yeah. Oh, someone dizzle dazzle.
Here we go. Yeah. Let's look at the response. It is C and D. The triple shift, as Dizzle Dazzle has rightly said, is by Duncombe and Marsden. The reserve army of labour comes from the kind of Marxist feminist approach. The dual burden was Oakley's, and it was she came upon the idea of the dual burden when she was studying the conventional family in Britain in the 1970s. Question number 5, please. And which of the following ideas would you associate with Becker? The social construction of deviance, labeling theory, the dramaturgical model. I'll just wait for Duncan to correct my pronunciation of that one as well.
That was perfect.
Brilliant, right. And the self-fulfilling prophecy. Which of those would you associate with the work of Howard Becker? Social construction of deviance, labeling theory, dramaturgical model, and the self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, some good answers here. A, B, D, A, B, D, B and D, B, A, B, D. Okay, lots of people saying B and D. It'd be interesting to see if those people who... sorry, let's look at the response. Can we have the answers, please? Thank you. It'd be interesting to see if those people who are saying B and D have done crime and deviance yet, because Becker did talk about the social construction of deviance and labeling theory, which is obviously what Becker is known most for, and the self-fulfilling prophecy. But some great answers there. Nobody was putting the dramaturgical model, which was good.
I'm sure some people would know it, because we had some people suggest Goffman earlier, didn't we? And that's obviously
indeed. And so people obviously are aware of sort of like kind of Goffman. Let's move on to our next activity. I think it's me again, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Right.
Greg.
What we've done, this is a connection wall. And in the connection wall, again, we are focusing on theories, theoretical approaches to sociology. So out of these 16 terms, there are 4 groups of 4 terms that all relate to a sociological approach. What it might be worth you doing is, first of all, identifying the 4 sociological approaches in that grid. So if we think about some of the sociological perspectives, and if you write those down on the right-hand side, we see if we can identify some of the perspectives we're talking about in that grid. First of all, if you look at those terms, they all relate to a sociological perspective. If we write down the different perspectives that you think are in that grid, first of all, the new right, good. Postmodernism is in there. Yep. So there's 2 of our 4 perspectives. Any other perspectives that are in there? If you look at some of those terms. Feminism, thank you, Lucy. That's 3 of them. And our final one.
Dizzle Dazzle has said interactionism.
Labeling self-fulfilling prophecy, male gaze increases in-skill factors for achievement. Okay, we've said interactionism as well. Did you say? I didn't see that interactionism come through.
I think I saw that come from Dizzle Dazzle somewhere. Yeah, I think so.
So no Marxist concepts in there. So what we'll do is we'll take the first one that was there, new right. Can you identify 4 terms that you would associate with the new right in that grid? 4 terms that we would associate with the new right. So which 4 terms in there might we associate with the new right? I think somebody had said underclass as one. Dazzle said underclass.
Yeah, Luke said that as well.
Underclass, yeah. Any others that are in there that would identify as new right?
There are 3 more.
There are welfare dependency. Caitlin, good. Welfare dependency. So we've got 2 of the 4 there. Underclass welfare dependency. Maury, that is a new right theorist. He's not on the grid. Personal responsibility, that is a very good one. And if we have personal responsibility, what might we have alongside personal responsibility? People are more responsible for their own upkeeping. What may we have in the new right as well? If they're responsible for their own children, who is not responsible? And what can we reduce as a result?
If you think perhaps about the sort of the politics and the economics of the new right for a moment there. I think Lauren.
There we go, Lauren.
Yeah.
Small states, yes. Okay, so we can move on to the next one, please. And I believe our next one is postmodernism. So let's identify 4 terms with postmodernism in there. 4 terms you would associate with postmodernism.
So someone spotted postmodernism as one of the connections. So which terms did you see?
Which of those terms might you associate with postmodern? Media saturation. Well done, Luke. As one. Globalization, key idea sort of like behind postmodernism, globalization. So we have 2. Greater diversity, media saturation, and increased choice. I think we've seen there as well. Yeah, that's all 4 of those. If we could move on, please. Now we've noticed interactionism in there. So 4 concepts that you would associate out of those 8 remaining associated with interactionism. So if we look at the 8 that are remaining, which of those would you associate with interactionism? People still putting their postmodernist ideas, answers there, all very good.
Caitlin's come in with one.
Caitlin, labeling theory, yes, would be an interactionist idea. There's 1. Self-fulfilling prophecy is 2. Looking glass self, 3. What is the other one? What do interactionists say we take on in different social situations? Okay, so we've got Maisie talking about genderquake bedroom culture. We'll hold on to that for a minute. Looking glass self we've had. So we've got 3 of the 4. Multiple roles. Yeah. Well done.
Few people have come in with it there.
Brilliant. Everybody's coming in at the same time. And our final one is obviously feminism and the 4 concepts that we would associate with feminism. People started to put those through there. Genderquake, patriarchy, bedroom culture, and the male gaze. Well done, everybody. Some really good knowledge of postmodernism. That one was done very quickly. And postmodernism is one of those theories that people usually get quite confused with. So well done, everybody. And Duncan, it's over to you now.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to have a look at a different type of activity now. This is kind of a memory activity. It's quite a good way of learning and remembering some key terms. We're going to do it with Marxism. So it's called Kim's Game. It's a way of training spies. So if you want to join them, join MI5 or something, this could be a way of doing it. In a moment, on the screen, a number of Marxist key terms are going to appear on the screen, and then they're going to vanish slowly one by one. And then they'll come back on with one missing, and you've got to try and work out which one's missing. So essentially, you've got to try and remember all these 9 items in order to work out which one's missing. Now, there are little techniques and approaches you could use, perhaps trying to group some of the terms together, so then you'll spot if one's missing, for example. But let's see how you get on with that. So just have a look at it and try and memorize them. You don't need to write anything down until the grid comes back on with the missing one, and see who's the quickest.
This is definitely your music, isn't it, Duncan?
Oh, one's already gone.
This was you.
Hope you didn't miss it.
This was you in the 80s, so like Flock of Seagulls. Kinda.
I think so.
John zoned up to the music, I think. Oh dear me, that's a poor joke. But still.
Okay, so which item is missing? Let's have a look at the grid. With one missing, which one is it? Okay, let's see who's the first one to type in the missing term. Also, if there are any of those concepts that you're not familiar with, do type in and ask what the heck is, whatever it might be. We've talked about quite a few of them already today, actually. Lara, I think, was the first person I saw saying false class consciousness. We've had a few people saying revolution, but I can see revolution. It's down there in the bottom right, unless your screen looks different from mine. False class consciousness. I think Lara was the first to say it, and Maisie and Joe and Dizzle Dazzle have come in with it as well. Shall we have a look if that was the missing one? It was. Very well done. You can be recruited to the Marxist spy group. I got a question from Caitlin. What is surplus value? I think that's I think that is probably the most unfamiliar perhaps term in there, and it's kind of the more economic rather than sociological, I suppose. It's kind of Marx's idea of profit in a way, because Marx believed that the value of an item came from the labour that went into it, and the workers are paid less than what the product is sold for, and that gap between the two is the surplus value, which is essentially where the capitalists extract value from the work. Oh, there's an excellent explanation there from tutor to you there as well. Fantastic. And also someone asked what's hegemony or hegemony, depending on how we're going to pronounce it. So that is a similar concept to ideology in a way. It's about it's the ways, but the kind of the subtle ways in which the ruling class dominate the society kind of culturally. That's the way Marxists use it, and it came into Marxist discourse through Gramsci, the Italian Marxist. It was used as a term in kind of global politics before that to mean kind of the domination of a particular country. So you might talk about like American hegemony as a kind of when you're talking about unipolarity. Someone's asked what is class polarization, which isn't one of the concepts on the grid, but it's a good question. So that's the idea of people becoming bourgeoisie or proletariat, people being polarized into these hostile classes rather than perhaps meeting somewhere in the middle. Okay, in other, which might happen in other societies. Okay, shall we move on to one final activity, which we call categorize? And we've got three categories here. It's three of our perspectives: functionalism, Marxism, and feminists. And we've got 8 names on the bottom of the screen, and I just want you to say which ones should go in which column. We've got a little timer to go there. I forgot what's repressive state apparatus. So sorry, just quickly, Louis Althusser talked about ideological and repressive state apparatus. Ideological state apparatus, things like the media and education, which he argued, spread the ideology of the ruling class in order to maintain the ruling class in power. Whereas I've probably just given away one of the questions as well in this one, which is good. Yes, Joe, well done. Althusser is a Marxist. And whereas the repressive state apparatus, things like the army and the police and things like that. Okay, shall we set the timer? But people are already going for it, which is brilliant. Well done. So well done, Joe. Well done, Lauren.
Hopefully feminist,
Good.
kind of functionalist. Yeah. Seeing some good responses.
Very good. Feminists are sharp and Oakley, well done. Functionalists, Parsons and Durkheim. Anyone else? Marxists, Althusser, Bowles and Gintis. Anyone else?
I tell you what, it might be half term, but nobody's taking a break, are they?
No, they did
Everyone seems
brilliantly.
to be on it today.
Oh, well done, Dizzle Dazzle. I was about to say no one's mentioned Engels yet, but Dizzle Dazzle and Luke have done amazing. Well done. Oh, well, let's have a look at the answer. But there were all sorts of everyone was getting the right answers there. Absolutely fantastic. So let's have a look at them in their place. Yeah, so I think everyone got those, which is brilliant. Did we leave marks off deliberately? We did, yes. That would have been too easy, wouldn't it? Along with Jeff Functionalist. We don't use him either. No. Can we upload this later? Yes. So it will be available on the I'll just to watch again on YouTube very quickly afterwards. Okay, so some fantastic answers there, and I think there were fantastic answers throughout. It was really good and great to see lots of you here and really engaging with it all really well during half term. So thanks very much for that. If you enjoyed this, and hopefully you did, and you certainly engaged with it, can you click the thumbs up button and say you liked it? If we get it up over 100, if we get it into 3 figures, then what should we do? What's the prize?
Well, I think free entry to next week's session on crime and deviance is the least we can do.
It is,
excellent, yeah. And similarly, if you want to be notified when the next one is, if you haven't already subscribed, please do click the bell icon. And thanks very much for all your help, and thanks, Craig and Jim.
Just to mention just to mention, so like if there are other kind of things that you want us to cover, sort of like on these revision sessions, please do mention them in the comments. We kind of keep on looking back at the comments to see sort of like what it is that students are wanting to see, sort of like as their revision content. We're pretty much guided by what you guys want, because obviously, you know, lots of people are doing different topic areas, and lots of people have different areas. So the most popular ones we do pick and do for our revision sessions.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Craig, otherwise known as the GOAT, and his apprentice, Duncan. Fantastic session. Well done for everyone who's taken the time to participate during half term. Hopefully you'll have a chance to put your feet up a bit rather than just studying for the remaining days, and we'll see you hopefully this time next week. So thanks very much.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.